All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym. And the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises and we break them out into 4 different sections. So today we are going to be working in the September cardio section. At the top here is a little animated video to tell you what you're going to be doing for Craig that month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge. And then at the bottom, here are all of the exercises within this section. So today we are going to practice setting up and paying a delayed charge. You will need to be in the sample company for this exercise. If you're not sure how to get into it or how to get your own free QBOA account, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. So our scenario today is that Craig installed a new garden at Red Rock Diner and the owners asked Craig to handle the watering. Craig needs to stop by twice per week to water. He may need to do some weeding intermittently as well. Craig only wants to invoice Red Rock Diner once for these visits at the end of the month. So far, Craig has watered the new garden on Tuesday and Friday of last week, and he already did Tuesday of this week and plans to do Friday as well. Plus, this week he is going to weed. So let's see how to record this. Before we start recording this, because we are recording this now and sending an invoice later, we can use the delayed charges feature. So we'll start by setting up the charges for last week's watering first. We're going to click on the plus new button and then select delayed charge. Here I am in the sample company. This is the dashboard. At the top here, click on this plus new button. Under customers, you're going to select delayed charge. And QBO is thinking. There it is. Okay. So now let's go ahead and complete it. As a note, Craig tells you to charge $25 per visit. So in the customer field, we're going to select Red Rock Diner. So click into it. You can start typing in red for Red Rock Diner. There it is. The delayed charge is going to be the Friday of last week. So I'm going to put that in here. The Friday for me for last week was the 22nd. And then in the product service field, we're going to select landscaping gardening. So let's do that. Click into it 2 times. I'm going to start typing in gardening. There it is. And there we go. We have that there for us. Now we need to update the description. And as a quick note here, we could create 2 lines for each day, one for Tuesday, one for Friday. But in this exercise, we're just going to use 1 line for both of those days. So in that description field, we're going to edit it to say watering and then this MMDDYY 2 times. This represents Tuesday. This represents the Friday. Normally, when we are using the sample company, we don't really focus on the dates because they're constantly changing. But in this case, if it's helpful for you to enter last Tuesday's date and last Friday's date, you can see what that actually what that would look like in a real world invoice. So for me, I'm just going to go ahead and type in the what it says here in the exercise. Feel free to add the actual dates if you would like. So mine is, it's watering, I believe. Yep. Watering, MMDDYY, comma, MMDDYY. There we go. And then in the quantity field, we're going to type 2 because there were 2 different visits. It was that Tuesday and that Friday. So we have 2 here. And then as we mentioned, Craig had told you that the charge was $25 per visit. So we need to add that into the rate field. So click into the rate field, type in 25. If you tab over, you will see that that amount has been calculated for you. 2 times 25 is 50. That was just something that QBO does for you. It's great. So now we need to click on Save and New to create another one. So click on the green Save and New button down here. And that delayed charge has been saved. And now we're going to do another one. We're going to set up the one for this week. So in the customer field, again, we're going to select Red Rock Diner. So click into it 2 times, or just click into it once, I'm sorry, and then start typing in red for Red Rock Diner, and you will see them pop up, and then you click on it. If for whatever reason, when you are doing this, if you get this pop-up notification, it's just QBO asking like, hey, do you want to pre-fill this delayed charge and overwrite your entries using values from the last delayed charge? If you get that, just go ahead and click on the yes. If you don't see that, then let's just move on to the next step. So we're going to change the date from last Friday to the upcoming Friday. Again, feel free to edit the description field to reflect Tuesday and Friday dates if you want to see how it would look on an invoice. So for me, I'm going to change this date to, it's going to be next Friday, which is the 6th. And I know that Craig in this exercise has said that he wants it to be invoiced at the end of the month. Let's just assume that the end of the month is going to, that he just started this. And so we're going to do the end of the month as the end of October for my particular delayed charges. Your dates are going to be totally different. So just know that whenever you're doing this, the last delayed invoice or delayed charge needed to be the previous Friday, and whatever your date is for today, choose the following Friday for right here. Again, like I mentioned before, dates are not as super important when we're doing these exercises because the sample company is always changing them. So just focus on what it is that we're actually doing rather than focusing on the dates here. Just wanted to point that out in case it was a little confusing. Okay, so Craig had indicated that he did some weeding this week for $15. So let's make sure that we add that to the delayed charge. So in the second row in the product service, again, we're going to select landscaping and gardening. So let's click into this 2 times, start typing in gardening. There it is. And then we need to update the description so that it says weeding. So let's do that. Highlight over it, delete, and type in weeding. And then the rate we said was $15. And he only went once, so you only need to change the rate, change that to 15, tab over. It has updated in the amount, and you will see too that the new amount, that 50 plus 15, has been added for us by QBO, so we know that the total for this delayed charge is going to be $65. So now we can just go ahead and save and close. So click on the little arrow down here, click on Save and Close, and that delayed charge has also been saved. So let's say that the end of the month has rolled around and now you're ready to invoice Red Rock Diner. You could simply click on the plus new button and invoice like usual, but let's look at Red Rock Diner's account first and then we'll invoice from there. So to get there, in the left-hand nav bar, we're going to mouse over customers and leads and then select customers. So over here on the left-hand side, here's customers and leads, hover over that and then click on customers. And then we need to find Red Rock Diner and click on their name. So scroll down until you find them. Here they are for me. Just click anywhere on that line so that you can have the customer profile appear for you. If you happen to get any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of them, like this one. Just QBO trying to be really helpful for us. So you will see as we look at the activity that there are 2 delayed charges there are the 2 delayed charges that we just set up. You'll notice how the amounts are displayed, but they are not reflected in the open balance amount, and that's because they have not been invoiced yet. So let's go ahead and create that invoice. On the top row, we are going to click on Create Invoice. So here is what we're talking about. There is this 411 that it's showing, and that's the amount that's here. But if you look at the top here, it says that the open balance is 226. It is not taking in these 2 charges because they have not been invoiced yet. So we are going to go ahead and create the invoice now by clicking on the Create Invoice link at the top here. And this will appear for us. Now, the invoice will automatically be created using the delayed chart information from the one that we clicked on. However, you'll notice that the other delayed charge popped up in the drawer on the right-hand side, so you can add it to the invoice. If there were numerous or additional delayed charges, they would also show up here as well. So we are going to first edit the invoice date to the last day of this month. So for me, I'm going to just say that the invoice date is going to be the 31st of October. And then to add the first delayed charge to this invoice, we can click Add All. So this was that first one that we had done, those 2 days of watering. We're going to click on this Add All button here. Again, if there were more delayed charges that were on that list there, if we had created multiple ones, we could just click that same button and all of them would be pulled over here. So now the invoice is ready to be sent to the customer. It shows the 4 watering visits and the weeding in the single invoice. So normally, if you have the customer's information, you would just save and send it via email to the customer. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and save and close. So click on the Save and Close button. If you see down here, well, first before we do that, here is that first. The watering for 2 days, the watering for 2 days, so total of 4, and then the 1 weeding. So that's why, just so you know what you're looking at when you see all of them on this whole invoice. So anyways, let's go ahead and click on the little arrow here and then click on Save and Close. And that invoice has now been saved. Now, if we go back to the customer profile, you will notice that both of the delayed charges have been marked as converted, and that means that they have been included in an invoice. So in addition to that, now that the delayed charges have been invoiced, the open balance has now increased by $115, which is the combined total of those 2 delayed charges. If you want more practice using delayed charges and other accumulated charges, just check out the April strength training section in the QBO gym. So just really quick before we end here, you will see this says converted, and that is because it has been included in this invoice right here. And this open balance has increased because it has now been invoiced. And there you go. That's how you set up delayed charges. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. We have finished the cardio section and now we move on to the strength training section where we really focus on prepayments. And I will see you in the next video.